Think about this. You wake up one morning. No clothes, no blanket, nothing. Now imagine surviving an ice age winter like that. Impossible, right? But here's the thing: for most of human history, we had no clothes. We were naked, completely bare-skinned in a world full of sharp rocks, thorns, freezing winds, and burning sun. And then something changed. Someone, somewhere, picked up an animal's skin and wrapped it around themselves. That moment changed everything. But when did it happen? And how do we know? That's what we're going to uncover today. The story of when humans first started wearing clothes. The lice detective story. Here's something strange. Scientists wanted to know when humans started wearing clothes, but they had a problem: clothes rot. Animal skins, plant fibers, leather, they all decompose. No direct evidence. Nothing to dig up. So scientists got creative. They turned to an unlikely witness: lice. You see, there are two kinds of lice. Head lice live in your hair, body lice live in your clothes. Body lice evolved from head lice. They split off when humans started wearing clothes. And here's the key: body lice need clothes to survive. Without clothes, they die. So scientists analyzed lice DNA. They measured when head lice and body lice diverged. The answer? Between 83,000 and 170,000 years ago. That's when body lice appeared. That's when humans must have been wearing clothes regularly. Another study narrowed it down around 190,000 years ago. That's when anatomically modern humans in Africa first started wearing clothing. But here's what's fascinating: humans lost their body hair about 1.2 million years ago. That's a million years of being naked before we figured out clothes. So what happened in between? The first tools: evidence from stone. Lice tell us when we started wearing clothes, but tools tell us something even older. In China and Spain, archaeologists found stone tools dating back 800,000 years. They look like hide scrapers, tools used to prepare animal skins. Who made them? Homo erectus, an extinct human ancestor. In Germany, archaeologists found 300,000-year-old scrapers alongside bear bones with cut marks. The bears were skinned for their fur, not for meat. Neanderthals were making clothing too. They lived in Europe long before modern humans arrived. Surviving Ice Age winters meant covering up. At Neumark Nord in Germany, scientists found tannin on a stone tool, evidence of leather tanning 100,000 years ago. And in Morocco's Contrabandiers cave, researchers uncovered over 60 bone tools designed for working animal skins, dated to around 120,000 years ago. They also found carnivore bones with cut marks, suggesting they were skinned for fur. So clothing is older than just modern humans. Neanderthals, Homo erectus, they all wore clothes. But here's the difference: they wore simple clothing. Animal skins draped over the body, shawls, loincloths, nothing tailored, nothing fitted. That changed when modern humans arrived. The sewing needle revolution. Around 40,000 years ago, something changed. Eyed needles appeared in the archaeological record. These are tiny bone needles with a hole for thread. Simple, but revolutionary. Why? Because they allowed tailored clothing, fitted garments, layers, seams. The oldest known needles date back 50,000 years, found in Denisova Cave, Siberia. Other examples from 41,000 to 15,000 years ago have been found across Slovenia, Russia, China, Spain, and France. With needles, humans could now sew animal skins together, make clothes that actually fit the body, close-fitting layers that trapped heat. This was a game changer. It allowed humans to survive in the harshest climates on Earth, to move into the Arctic, to cross frozen land bridges. Neanderthals had no needles, at least none that survived. They wore simple draped skins. Modern humans had needles. We had tailored clothing. That gave us a survival advantage. From animal skins to woven cloth. For a long time, clothing was all about animal skins. Hides, furs, leather, simple, warm, but limited. Around 36,000 years ago, something new appeared. In Zizuana Cave in the Republic of Georgia, archaeologists found the oldest known plant fibers, flax fibers. Over 1,000 of them. Some were colored black, gray, turquoise, pink. They had been dyed. This is the first evidence of textile production. Woven cloth, fabric made from plant fibers. The humans in that cave had learned to spin flax into thread, to weave it into fabric, to dye it colors. Clothing was no longer just animal skins. It was becoming something more, an expression of identity, a craft, an art. And then around 27,000 years ago, we see more evidence. Small statues carved from stone show clothing details. The Venus of Lesbiew from France depicts a cloth or twisted fiber skirt, string skirts, belts, bands. These were not just practical anymore. The Sungir burial luxury clothing. Want to see how advanced prehistoric clothing became? Visit Sungir, Russia. It's a burial site dating back 28,000–30,000 years. One grave contained a man wearing thousands of ivory beads. These beads were sewn onto his clothing, a tailored, decorated garment. This wasn't survival clothing. This was ceremonial clothing. Special occasion clothing. Luxury clothing. The beads were arranged in patterns, multiple layers of decorated garments. This tells us something profound. By 30,000 years ago, clothing had become more than just protection. It was status, identity, art. People were decorating their clothes, dyeing fibers, making intricate beadwork. Why we needed clothes, the climate story. But let's go back to the why. Why did humans need clothes in the first place? Because we lost our fur. Around 1.2 million years ago, humans lost their full coat body hair. Why? Because early humans were evolving in Africa. It was hot. Being hairy made you sweat more. Sweat is how humans cooled down. Less hair meant better sweating. Better sweating meant staying cool. But then humans started migrating, moving into colder climates. Europe, Asia, Siberia. By the Ice Age, temperatures dropped dramatically. Without fur, humans were vulnerable. One study found that Neanderthals would have needed to cover up to 80% of their body to survive the cold. That's a lot of coverage, head to toe. So clothing became essential, not just for comfort, for survival. The brain connection. Here's the really interesting part. Clothing might have helped our brains grow. Think about it. Once humans had clothing, they could move into colder environments. That opened up new territories, new food sources, new challenges. Those challenges required intelligence. And there's more. Clothing itself requires cognitive skills, planning ahead, problem solving, tool making. You can't just throw a skin over yourself. You need to scrape the fat off, soften the leather, shape it to fit. The earliest scrapers date back 300,000 years. That's a lot of time to practice these skills. Complex clothing tailored, fitted clothing emerged around 40,000 years ago. That's also when we see a bloom in human creativity. Cave art, jewelry, musical instruments. Coincidence? Maybe not. From needles to civilization. So where did it all lead? Fast forward to 8,000 years ago. Bark sandals in Oregon. 5,000 years ago, a shirt and beaded dress in Egypt. Utsi the Iceman. 5,000 years ago, wearing leather and woven grass shoes, a fur jacket, leather leggings, and even leather underwear. Textiles appeared in the Middle East during the Late Stone Age. The first known woven cloth from South America dates to 8,000 BC. By 2,500 BC, the Indus Valley civilization was making cotton clothes. By 5,500 BC, Egyptians were producing linen cloth. From simple skins to cotton, silk, wool, linen, human clothing evolved into a global industry. Outro: the unbroken thread. So here's the story. For a million years, humans were naked. Then about 190,000 years ago, we started covering ourselves with animal skins. At first, it was simple. Draped skins, shawls, loincloths. Then about 40,000 years ago, we invented needles. We started tailoring clothes, fitted garments, layers. Clothing became more than protection. It became art, status, culture. And today, we wear clothes without thinking about it. We don't realize that every jacket, every pair of shoes, every stitch connects us back to that moment when a human first wrapped an animal skin around themselves to survive. That moment changed everything. Clothing allowed us to conquer the world, to survive ice ages, to cross oceans, to build civilizations. It all started with a simple idea. I'm cold. I need something to wear. And that idea has never left us.